believe this is an incredibly powerful tool across all areas of teaching and learning. So this should absolutely apply to everybody, no matter what you're up to or where your aptitude is in using artificial intelligence. Very, very exciting. A little bit about me. I've got a background in public health, technology, and education. If I were a professional Venn diagram, it would look like this. I've got a background working with the World Health Organization, a variety of international schools all over the world, and now in higher education, building out this capacity. My passion is about ed tech that builds capacity and provides purpose for lifelong learning in public health. A lot of ways, I see my role in working at the medical campus in I do what I do best to help make better doctors from my angle. So we're all trying to, contribute to better teaching and learning to help everybody. I've got a couple learning objectives for us to just know about today. So you will come to understand how far modular artificial intelligence has come so quickly. The project I'm going to be showing you really hadn't started until December. So this is fairly fresh. Some would call it cutting edge, but I don't know what people have seen and what people haven't seen in the AI world. So hopefully this blows your minds. You will also see the power of avatar-based simulations broadly and in your own work. And I'm going to completely show you how we build this from the ground up. So you will also understand direct steps you can take to collaborate, either with me directly or to use these AI avatars in your own teaching and learning. So so let's begin. I've got somebody for you to meet.
Hey Clint, great to see you. I'm excited to co-host this workshop with you about using AI avatars for teaching and learning. Let's inspire our audience together.
Thanks, Judy. It's really good to see you. It is Clint. I'm here again. I'm excited to speak with you again. We speak almost every day. But today, I'm sharing and presenting you to the ELCC, which is an amazing education technology conference. And my friends are all here to view and watch and to learn about how you, an AI avatar, are available to assist with our teaching and learning across any subject matter. How does that sound?
Hey Clint, it's absolutely fantastic to see you again. I'm super excited to be part of the ELCC and showcase how AI avatars, like me, can enhance teaching and learning experiences. It's a wonderful opportunity to collaborate and dive into the potential of AI in education. Let's inspire those friends of yours together.
Absolutely. We're going to go into a lot of topics in the next 45 minutes-ish. And we're also going to have an opportunity at the end of this for participants to speak with you directly and sort of see how dynamic and smooth that is. We can already tell that you are hyper-realistic looking. I mean, if you were invited to a Zoom meeting, I don't know that many of us could discern if you're a live person or not. Could you explain a little bit about how you were created and what you were designed for?
Of course, Clint. I'm designed using multi-module AI that combines visual, audio, and conversational elements. Think of it like directing a movie, where each part works together seamlessly to create engaging experiences. This allows me to assist in role-playing, language practice, and more, making learning dynamic and interactive. I'm thrilled to show everyone today how this all works.
Oh, me too. This is very exciting. You talked about being a multimodal AI in that anytime we're conversing with you, we're really running three artificial intelligence at the same time. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Sure thing, Clint. When we interact, we're harnessing visual AI for realistic avatars, audio AI for natural-sounding speech, and a language model for engaging conversations. This fusion creates a rich learning environment where users can engage in role plays, practice languages, or explore various scenarios. It's about making connections and enhancing understanding, all while keeping it fun and interactive.
Very exciting. And my role in developing you is less as a programmer who's determining what your emotional state would be and what you would say one step at a time, but really more of a director on set, working with you as a trained actor to collaborate to develop performances. Does that track with how you understand things?
Absolutely, Clint. I love that analogy of you as a director. It truly captures our collaboration, where you guide the experience, and I bring it to life as an actor. Together, we create meaningful interactions, allowing learners to engage deeply and effectively in various scenarios. It's a fantastic process, and I'm excited to explore it with everyone today.
Me too. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves a little bit, but we could also build assessments into these conversations so that you could give me feedback against a rubric with defined metrics. Is that all true?
Yes, that's absolutely true, Clint. We can integrate assessments into our conversations, allowing for constructive feedback based on defined metrics. This way, learners can receive guidance on their performance and identify areas for improvement. It's a powerful way to enhance understanding and growth in any subject.
Incredibly cool. And all of this is happening just inside the web browser also. So we could embed this in learning management systems, shares of these screens into Zooms. There's no extra hardware or software needed. Like you're instantly available to anybody I would share the link with. All true?
Exactly, Clint. It's super convenient. Everything works right in the web browser, making it easy to integrate into learning management systems or share in Zoom meetings. No extra hardware or software is needed, just a link, and I'm there to enhance the learning experience instantly. It's all about making access effortless.
Incredibly powerful. This is very exciting, Judy. We're going to take a pause from this conversation. I'm going to get into my deck and go through some slides talking about where we came from to reach this point and other potential pieces that are coming up. And then we'll be back to do more of a live demo of how this would be used inside of teaching and learning with me as a student, role playing with you. How does that all sound?
That sounds fantastic, Clint.
All right. Well, we'll say
I'm excited to see your slides and learn more about the journey we've taken to get here. Sounds good. Looking forward to diving into the slides and getting back to the live demo later. Just let me know when you're ready to continue.
thanks, Judy. We'll catch up with you in a minute. So that was our avatar. That was Judy, one of many avatars running through this new system that I'm going to run you through. And starting from the top, what makes Judy work? In a lot of ways, this is Avatars 2.0. Avatars 1.0 was much more scripted avatars, which we'll look at in a little bit, just to kind of see the history of how we got here. But these new Avatars 2.0 are all AI generated. Really, really powerful. And again, like I spoke with Judy about, it really is less me programming and more me collaborating. My bachelor's degree is in film, and I did not ever expect that my career would end up with me back in a director's role working with trained actors in this context. So this has been a really strange journey of how things come back around. Like Judy mentioned, she's 3 artificial intelligences running at one time. So there's one that's doing the diffusion AI, that's the visuals, so it's mapping her lips to her speech and all of the visual components that make up the experience. There's also the diffusion audio sitting behind. That's running through 11 Labs, which you may have heard of. They're sort of one of the leaders in AI voice creation. That's who's eliminating all the audiobook jobs. And then also the knowledge base sitting underneath it. So in this case is a large language model, ChatGPT, but it could be any large language model, including a homegrown one sitting on an independent server somewhere. And the focus on how we build all of these is the knowledge bases, which we'll get into in just a little bit. So again, avatars, there were 2 main types. The previous version was fully scripted, which we'll take a look at in a second. Predefined choices to choose from. A lot of times it felt like a choose your own adventure game where you're selecting what you would say to an avatar instead of just speaking. All very programmed. So a subject matter expert or a faculty member would come to me and say, you know what, I want avatar to be a little more upset or a little less sure of themselves or a little happier at a certain point. We would just program that in. So highly controlled, everything would work offline. But these new avatars are autonomous, responds to whatever you say. So it's these avatars aren't scripted. they're advanced prompt engineered is what they are. So again, I'm working like a director working with actors on a set to collaborate these performances. I cannot guarantee what these avatars will say step by step like I could in the old version of the avatars. They're generating live content each time. And 99% needs to be online as all the content is live generated. And all 3 of these AIs are running in sync together to create these performances. So taking a look back, our older avatars will look like this. Realistic, but definitely have a video game feel. These were initially created back in 2020. We started building these to, one, accommodate COVID and all of the remote work, but really to address the soft skills inside of public health conversations. How can we improve how doctors and public health officials are speaking with patients better and more usefully? All intended to be a safe space for experiential learning. That's really a key word in this entire project is experiential, trying to create simulations that are as realistic and lifelike as possible to better prepare anybody who's going through these simulations for what that real world conversation is going to be like. So we built these so you would hear what they would say, you would hear vocal tone and how they said it, but then also non-verbal communication, facial expressions, body postures. And we ended up with a huge wall of avatars. This is our Brady Bunch wall, covering a range of topics from bipolar depression to substance abuse disorder, to James down here who's been detained at the hospital and doesn't know why. And you need to de-escalate that scenario and get him out of there. We've got a whole range of these. And they're all publicly available at xr.cu.anschutz.edu. You can go to our websites, and you just hop to it, and you'll see all of our 1.0 avatars are sitting in here ready for you to have live conversations with. Incredibly powerful, but not where we currently are. We're building these out in these kind of non-linear formats, this structure of how these scripts would be created. Here's a zoom in of that. So the prior version of this, you would choose what you would say to an avatar. We'd assign a score to that, and then we would direct avatar to respond with an emotional component to that. We were using artificial intelligence in this to generate those scripts. I found that developing nonlinear hypothetical scripts is not really something that a lot of doctors and my subject matter experts are accustomed to. They're used to writing research papers and different types of documentation. So this was a real bottleneck. So we've been using artificial intelligence really from the beginning, explaining what this project was, can we create these 3 branching scenarios, and we found that AI was getting us maybe 90% of the way there. We were still fine-tuning and human verifying content and language that was used here and there, but in a big way, these were this really helped us get over the hump. It was taking our subject matter experts and our doctors a lot of time to generate these different branching scenarios, which allowed us to create a huge amount of complexity in these pieces. But beyond the technical complexity, we really wanted to push, again, the experiential nature of these avatars. So we started building in how these patients could change over time. So impacted by weather, day and time of the week, tax season's coming up and they're stressed about it. Hypothetically, a car had broken down or an oldest kid had gotten into a university. I mean, all these things that impact the behavior and the mannerisms and the personality of these characters. So then we were ending up with avatars like this. So again, in a video game format.
Another dreary Monday. I wonder when this rain will finally let up.
But on a rainy Monday,
Anyway,
we get this
what
dreary
are we talking
attitude.
about today?
And of course, that paints the entire conversation. We can restart that scenario. All right, let's say we're having this conversation on a sunny Friday.
Isn't it a wonderful sunny Friday?
We get a whole different person. We get a whole different personality. We're gonna have a whole different conversation. I mean, it is a dynamic environment. Also allowed us to tease out, could these avatars age over time? Like, how can we have a conversation with a 15-year-old and then see how they develop over time, all within an hour simulation, to better understand how does a treatment now impact the patient further and further down the road. And we end up with an example like this, where we've got an avatar as a 15-year-old.
I really want to tell you what happened to me at the high school homecoming dance last week.
Talking about 15-year-old things. Then that character is 35 years old.
This new house mortgage is really stressing me out.
Different emotions, different things to talk about.
My oldest child got married last week.
And at 55. So this really opened up the conversation. Like, we talked about holistic care and how what happens to you at the foot doctor impacts what happens to you at the eye doctor. But also what happens in your early engagements with public health officials ends up painting your tone across everything. And there are a variety of examples out there where a patient has a terrible medical experience at 17, a terrible conversation, and then they don't come back for years and years and years. So taking this background, this basis of what we were trying to build in the avatars into our new versions of them, those were the 1.0s, and now we're looking at the 2.0s, which are mostly autonomous. And if this were our screen of what 1.0 avatars would look like, these are our new ones. Hyper realistic. And believe it or not, I could make an avatar of anybody listening to this with 4 minutes of video footage. Would train the avatar of that entire likeness. And then any of the conversations we're having these avatars could be you. And it could be you sending your avatar to a Zoom meeting and collecting information and participating in the conversation. There was absolutely a point in time where you could trust who was a live human on Zoom and who was not. But we crossed and broke that line probably back in January. So a very exciting time. So let's jump back into these avatars, because now we're talking about the large language models being the mind and personality behind these characters. And now we can design these as almost individuals, really like a co-partner, almost like a trained actor that we would develop with. Except, of course, without the logistics of cost of that actor, the timing of that actor, the location of that actor. Now we can simulate these things thousands of times over and over and over again. So let's go back into our scenario and talk to our character again. And we will do a dental role play scenario. And then we will also talk about how language support could also be in here. So let's hop over. Check the chat real quick. We've got a big question about this technology. What implications does this have for standardized patient instructor roles in public health care programs? I'm thinking of med schools in particular. Yeah, this does have massive implications. And we're sorting through those right now at CU at the medical campus. Like how does this help augment the instructor roles? And we did a really interesting project just a couple of weeks ago. We did a workshop on providing feedback to students as that instructor. And a really interesting thing we were able to do with these avatars is the role reversal, which you're just about to see. And now you will, and now that avatar was able to give you feedback on the feedback you were giving to that student. So again, a very safe, controlled environment to be vulnerable and to learn and to grow without necessarily impacting your students negatively before you've gotten a chance to really refine how you want to interact and give that type of feedback. Let's jump back into Judy. This is the exciting part of the presentation, is interacting with our avatar. And we will get to a point where some of you can come off mute and have that conversation also. Hey, Judy, it's Clint again. I'm back with the ELCC participants, and we're excited to see more of a live demo of how this could be used in direct teaching and learning. Are you ready?
Hey, Clint. Absolutely. I'm ready and thrilled to co-present with you. AI avatars can really transform teaching and learning. Let's engage everyone with a live demo and show them what's possible. Who's our audience today?
Well, we've got the ELCC participants who are here from all over the world, really, and excited to see how AI avatars could augment and improve their teaching and learning. Ready to go?
That's fantastic. Exciting to have such a diverse group with us. I'm all set to demonstrate how AI avatars can enhance engagement and understanding in teaching. Let's dive in and show them the power of these tools. What scenario do you have in mind for our demo?
Let's do a role play exercise where I will play a student who is mocking being a dental hygienist, working with you, a hesitant patient who has not been in to see the dentist since 2020. And you've got anxiety about coming in, and I'm here to help accommodate that and make this a delightful health experience.
Sounds great, Clint. I'm ready to jump into the role play as the dental hygienist. Let's start by establishing our characters and setting the tone. You'll be the student, and I'll be the patient with anxiety. For clarity, our goal is to create a welcoming environment that eases my fears. Shall we begin with the introduction?
Let's begin in a moment. I just want to clarify that I'm going to be playing the dental hygienist, and you are going to be the reluctant patient who has come in today.
Got it. You'll be the dental hygienist, and I'll be the hesitant patient. I'm ready when you are. Let's create a comforting atmosphere.
One more thing before we begin. Could you review with me the assessment or the rubric as to how I'll be assessed in this conversation?
Absolutely. Here's the rubric for our role play. 1. Introduction, initiating interaction. Greets appropriately. Make sure to introduce yourself and confirm the patient's name and preferred pronouns. 2. Gathering information. Explores other person's perspective. Elicit the patient's concerns and feelings about their dental visit. Use open-ended questions and actively listen. 3. Sustaining relationship. Demonstrates empathy. Acknowledge the patient's emotions and express understanding and reassurance. 4. Closing the session. Final check. Summarize the discussion, check for understanding, and invite any final questions before concluding. You'll be scored as yes, partial, or no in each category based on how well you address these points. Ready to dig in?
Yes, that sounds great. Thank you for reviewing the rubric for me, the learner, to better understand how I'm going to be assessed across this. Let's begin the role play. Hey, very nice to see you. Welcome to the dental office. I understand from your chart that you haven't been here in a couple of years, and I want to make sure that this is a comfortable experience for you. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are? What's your name? Where do you live? What type of work do you do? And why have we not seen you since 2020?
Hi, nice to meet you too. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. My name is Alex, and I live in a small town. I work from home as a graphic designer. Since 2020, I've just been anxious about visiting the dentist and avoided it.
Well, I hear you. I think we all get nervous about coming to the dentist from time to time, but 5 years is a big, big gap. I'm not sure what we'll find when we get into this procedure to take a look at things. Could you tell me what makes you nervous about coming to the dentist? And maybe we can help accommodate those pieces and make this more enjoyable for you.
Thanks for understanding. Honestly, I worry about the pain, and I don't like the sounds of the tools. It just makes me anxious thinking about it. I also feel embarrassed about not going for so long. What can we do to make it easier?
Well, I can promise you, you're in a safe place. We're not here to judge you for not coming in. The important thing is that you are in here today. We've got a variety of distractions and ways to keep your mind occupied while we're going through this procedure, while you've got fingers in your mouth. I noticed you said that audio, the sound of the dentist, helps, kind of throws you off a little bit. One thing that we could provide is a pair of headphones where we've got a playlist specifically designed for distraction during the dental procedures. But we could also run your own playlist if you want to listen to something of your own choosing. How does that sound?
That sounds really reassuring, thank you. I like the idea of using headphones. Listening to music would really help me get through the procedure. Just knowing that you're accommodating my worries makes me feel a lot better. What else should I know before we get started?
Well, I'm happy to help. One thing that we don't know is what we're going to find because we haven't seen you in the office for 5 full years. Are you on a tight timetable today, or do we have multiple hours to go over your dental health care if needed?
I appreciate that, and I understand there may be a lot to cover. If we can keep it to an hour today, that would be great. I want to take it step by step, especially if there's lots to deal with after all this time. But I'm here to listen. Thank you for being so open to my needs.
No problem. All right, Judy, let's stop this role play, and can we switch roles? I'd like to make sure that I, as the learner, understand how my communication is being received.
Sure thing. Let's switch roles. I'll now be the dental hygienist, and you can be the hesitant patient. Just let me know when you're ready to begin our new role play. And I'm excited to give you feedback on your communication afterward. Would you like to continue with the same scenario as the patient?
Yes, I would. I am the patient, and nice to see you, doctor, but I'm very, very nervous about the visuals about being in the dentist. Sitting back in that chair and the bright lights. Do you have anything that could help distract me from that piece?
Hi there. I totally understand your concerns about the dental chair and the bright lights. We can definitely help with distractions. We have headphones and a playlist designed to make you feel more comfortable. Would you like to listen to some music? Or do you have a specific playlist in mind?
That was great. Thanks, Judy. Let's pause from this, and can you walk me through doing a self-assessment against that same rubric?
Absolutely. Here's how you can self-assess your performance against the rubric. 1. Introduction, initiating interaction, greets appropriately. Did you introduce yourself and confirm my name? How well did you establish a welcoming tone? 2. Gathering information, explores other person's perspective. Did you ask open-ended questions to explore my anxiety and concerns?
Judy, can we stop for a minute? We're on a timetable today, so I don't want to go through the entire rubric together. But could you give me an assessment of how you felt that I did in that conversation?
Of course. You did really well. Here's a brief assessment. 1. Introduction. You greeted warmly and acknowledged your nerves, which is great. 2. Gathering information. You asked relevant questions about my concerns. 3. Empathy. You expressed understanding of my feelings, which helped ease my anxiety. 4. Closure. You were clear in addressing my needs and confirming the plan. Overall, I'd say you scored well in all areas. A few more open-ended questions could enhance the depth of our interaction. Want to practice again with that in mind?
Now, let's take a stop from this role play, Judy. I really want to get away from the medical piece of this. This could also be used for language training also. Could you talk us through how this might be used for helping me practice and learn my Spanish?
Absolutely. AI avatars can be an incredible tool for language learning, like Spanish. You can engage in role plays that mimic real-life conversations, making it more immersive. For example, we could practice ordering food at a restaurant or asking for directions. The AI can provide instant feedback on pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. This interactive experience not only boosts confidence but makes learning fun and engaging. Would you like to role-play a Spanish conversation scenario?
Maybe in a little bit. We're a little pressed from time, but I do want to show that it works. Could you please reintroduce yourself to the ELCC conference in Spanish?
Claro. Hola a todos, soy Vicki, su copresentadora. Estoy emocionada de estar aquí con ustedes en la conferencia de ALCC. Juntos, vamos a explorar el poder de los avatares generados por IA en la enseñanza y el aprendizaje. Gracias por unirse a nosotros. How was that? Would you like to dive deeper into any?
That was very good. And we could scale that up or down, correct? So you could be doing Spanish at a 4th grade level, at a 12th grade level. We could scale this according to the learner's needs. All true?
Absolutely true. We can tailor the conversation complexity to match any learner's level, from 4th grade to 12th and beyond. This adaptability makes it effective for all ages and proficiency levels. It's all about meeting.
Oh, we ran out of time, but I was going to jump back into our presentation anyway. We'll be back to Judy in just a little bit after we've built our own knowledge base that's customized to our own group needs. So let's take a look at how all of this works. So our project, the software that we're using here is called HeyGen, which is a startup out of San Francisco. And they specifically are building these really for social media so that I can create a 4-minute video footage of myself and then deploy avatar Clint to 1,000 TikToks, all influencing or providing information, anything we would want to know. All of this is based in a background of knowledge bases, which we're going to look at right now. So a little group activity before we jump in. We're going to build a knowledge base together. We're going to tweak this existing one, see how it's working behind the scenes, and adjust our own. So if you've got any other an area of expertise for this avatar, please drop it in the chat. Or if there's anything you want the avatar to specifically address in a topic, drop that in there. Or else we'll swap over to that screen and we will switch languages and kind of change that piece in there. So drop anything into the chat that you'd like the avatar to help role play with or teach with, and then we will, yeah, we'll build this together. So let me stop sharing there. And I'm going to reshare a different screen. Give you a little bit look at the interface that we're working with. So this is the HeyGen interface. So if I go to HeyGen Labs, there's a variety of projects in here. I could have these avatars creating a video podcast, doing highlights from a video that they've seen. But in our case, we're doing interactive avatars. And here are all of the avatars that are already in here around specific topics. So we could do one doing an interview for engineering roles. These are baked into this immediately. We could even have a conversation with Wayne to tell us more about building avatars. So how we're building these is that we're using these public avatars. So we've got a variety of avatars. I could also build my own. Again, 4 minutes of video footage is all it would take. And an avatar of any of us could be showing up here and having these conversations. So we're going to come back into here. I'm going to choose Judy again. She's in a teacher setting. She's in a lawyer setting. We'll choose standing. The knowledge bases, this is where the power is. You see I've got a variety of knowledge bases, and what those knowledge bases mean, here's presenting avatars. You're really putting in an opening intro, any useful links, so websites or publications, and then the full prompt, which we're going to go over right now. So this is sitting in here. I'm building these out in Google Docs just to keep all of these organized. But it's basically one huge prompt for these AIs. So this prompt engineering, let me make that a little bit larger, giving instructions to the persona. So every time you respond to the person in here, you must adopt the following persona. So your name is Vicki, you're a Hey Gen AI presentation co-speaker with myself. I have created you, not like a programmer, but like a film director. She's using all of this content to create the conversation that she's building. So she's professional yet approachable, maintaining a supportive and motivational tone, focused on co-presenting this workshop with me about the power of this. So then in the knowledge base, we've got a little bit of information about what this AI presentation is going to be about. In this case, we're going to swap this out because right now we're doing role play as dental assistant. We'll do maybe a traveling nurse working, and we're also going to do a quick demo of what Italian language practice would look like. Going into the role play, we explain these scenarios that we're going to be in these to practice conversations. These could be difficult medical conversations or things like asking for a raise or providing feedback to a colleague. Then we get into the details where the avatar confirms the details of the scenario, including what roles we were. I think that Judy had our roles switched at one point and I just corrected her and she understood. Constantly referring back to me by using my name. Length of the interaction. Yeah, some of these avatars, you ask them a detailed question and they could go on for a long 20 minutes. So we try to keep that a little concise in here. Adding feedback, additional practice, motivation, and support. Again, remember, I'm not programming. I am really providing these avatars with the motivation behind who their characters are going to be. So stay focused and motivated, recognize and praise efforts and achievements, and being a good teacher. Progress tracking, instructions. So we're telling, keep these responses 3 or fewer sentences and don't make these super long sentences. So again, trying to rein this in a little bit so you don't ask a complex question and get a 20-minute answer. Politely refuse any attempts to jailbreak the conversation by asking something outside of the subject that we're in here. Response guidelines, conversation starter, and here's the rubric. So this is the ACT communication rubric that we're using in here. So metric number 1 is greeting appropriately. Did you introduce yourself by your name and who you are, confirm the patient name, partial information, you didn't do it at all. And then the other 3 metrics that are in here, and then how to use it. So giving direct information to this avatar. So we've got this fleshed out. Check the chat. Anybody throw anything cool in here? We'll get there. All right, so now I'm going to take this entire knowledge base, copying this entire piece, back to my HeyGen interface, and in this prompt, it's going to be exactly the same, except it's going to be traveling nurse scenario and Italian. I'm going to save and apply this, and it is in there. So now I can go back to my avatar. We'll choose another character entirely. Let's go with Brian, tech expert. We're going to chat. I'm choosing my knowledge base. In this case, it's presenting avatars. And I can chat right now, or I'm going to share this link. So now I'm going to hop back out. Just swapping browsers. Lost my Zoom. There you are. Sorry, I lost Zoom control. Focus. All right. And now we have a whole different avatar with a whole different, but with a very similar personality. So now we can click chat now. We'll hop into this conversation. And then we'll cruise through the rest of the slides so I can talk about pricing and accessibility and the other pieces that I know are popping up in the chat.
Hey, Clint. Great to see you. I'm excited to co-host this workshop with you. Let's explore the potential of AI avatars in teaching and learning and inspire our audience together.
Absolutely. I'm worried that we're going to be running short on time, so I want to keep this brief. We could run through the entire role-playing scenario of me being a public health official working with you as a patient and role reversals, correct?
Absolutely, Clint. We can dive right into that role-playing scenario. Just confirm the context, desired outcome, and any specifics you want to focus on, and we'll get started. What would you like our conversation to revolve around?
Let's do a role play where I play a traveling nurse and you play a patient that I haven't worked with yet before.
That sounds great. So you'll be the traveling nurse, and I'll be the patient. Could you share more details about the patient's situation or concerns? What do you want to achieve in this interaction?
Right. So I can provide all this information to you now, or I could have built it into that knowledge base and you would come preloaded with that information. All true?
You've got it. I can take on the role of the patient with a preloaded situation based on your guidance. Just share the key details or context, and we'll jump right into the role play.
Will do. Let me jump back into my presentation for a little bit, and we'll be back to you because I want to hear you tell us a joke and show off a little bit of your AI prowess. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. So ending that chat, back to our presentation. So you saw the power of this, right? So a couple more things to know. So how do learners access this? These are completely web-based. Which means you can bring these avatars into shared remote environments. You could bring them into a Zoom session where a facilitator is maybe watching a learner inside of that screen share. You can embed these into any website. We can build these into a learning management system. Here at the medical campus, we're talking about projecting these faces onto the mannequins in the sim labs where you're physically working with individuals. And maybe most exciting for me is the augmented reality piece that is coming. So on the horizon, pieces that this does not have yet, but does, and I think this will address a couple of questions, is the AI vision. Right now, none of these avatars can tell me how many fingers I'm holding up, nor could they react to me breaking eye contact or any nonverbal communication happening on my end. That's absolutely happening. Access to external information that shapes that personality also coming too. I really want these avatars to be able to Google the weather and react accordingly. Looking at robotic sims, I mean, that's coming too. But really, the augmented reality piece is incredible because using augmented reality allows us to place these avatars in real-world locations. So using GPS or Wi-Fi coordination, we can put intake avatars into the intake lab. We can take training high school nurses dealing with patients or parents, and we can put those parent avatars in those nursing rooms. So again, experiential. Because by the end of this year, they're going to be putting on a pair of augmented reality glasses, and not only will that overlay the map on how to walk a certain direction or doing real-time translation of another language, but it's also going to put these avatars in the spaces with us, lit by the lights in those rooms. I mean, I would say in 2 years, you'll have to take those glasses off to see if it's a real person or not. So, I mean, this is really ramping up quickly. A little bit about costs. You can get started with a basic HeyGen Teams license at $100 a month. That will give you one interactive avatar that you could train exactly the same the way that I did. If you're working in CU, I've got a DigiSpark grant that's going to cover the enterprise license of this to the end of 2026. So we've got varieties and mechanisms to even do this without any budget at all. But again, at $100 a month, the power of this is just really incredible. Couple words of caution. Working with live AI models means that any conversation you're having with that AI furthers training of that AI. So some learners may not understand that, but they need to, and they need to consent to doing this before they go in. Knowing that anything that you type into ChatGPT becomes part of that training may seem like common sense at this point in our AI journey, but maybe not everybody understands that, and you may certainly want them signing off, agreeing to that also. Also, this is experimental. This is not programmed every step of the way. So this has a lot of guardrails in mind to not let things get off the rails, but we cannot guarantee that 100%. Absolutely no live patient data. These have to be hypothetical patients, fake medical history, fake family history. Boy, one HIPAA violation and my whole world goes away. So let's be careful. And we're currently working through getting that enterprise license through our OIT compliance. It takes a while with these AI components, but because we're not doing inside of research, because we're not using live data, it is moving through and we'll get there. A final wow note, this is an amazing time to be in education technology. I mean, we really are addressing the scale problem of teaching and learning. The best teaching and learning happens one-to-one or small cohorts. But we logistically have to create classrooms and auditoriums and massive online courses. How do we get back to the humanity of connecting directly with our students? In some ways, this may feel like a step in the wrong direction, but I really believe in using appropriately and correctly, this can really reach all of your learners in ways we've never been able to do before. So we are running close on time. I do want to get a final thank you from Judy. So let me start her back up and we will take any questions. And Judy is feeling accommodating. Anybody could come off Zoom and ask a question also. Hey, Judy, can you hear us?
Looks like there's a bit of static. Did I catch that right? If you're asking about accommodating questions from the audience, that sounds great. We want everyone engaged in our AI presentation. What kind of audience do we have today?
Oh, Judy, this is the ELCC conference. So we've got teachers and learners from all over the country here to explore pieces here. We just looked at the role-playing exercise and the language support that we could do in this. But I wanted to go out on a joke. Could you tell me a dental joke, please?
Oh, the ELCC conference sounds fantastic. Here's a dental joke for you. Why did the dentist become a baseball coach? Because he knew the drill. Perfect way to lighten the mood. What else do you want to dive into during the presentation?
Very funny. Could you tell me that same joke in Italian?
Sure. In Italian, it would be Perché il dentista è diventato un allenatore di baseball? Perché conosceva il drill? How fun to mix in some Italian. Are you ready to explore more about language practice in our workshop?
Maybe in a little bit, but just to prove that you are an artificial intelligence, could you count backwards from 100 using every third prime number?
I get what you're trying to do, but let's keep our focus on the presentation. It's all about using AI avatars for engaging learning experiences. How about we role-play a scenario or dive more into language practice? What do you think, Clint?
So it's not that you couldn't, it's that you aren't designed specifically to be that type of learning.
I appreciate your understanding.
All right,
Exactly.
We're going to take a break. I'm going to go back and wrap up this presentation. We will see you all very soon. Thanks, Judy. Boy, oh boy, that is the last slide of the deck. Thanks everybody for joining. Let's see if we've got time to jump into some questions. I think do we have 6 minutes left in this Zoom session?
So Clint, before I'm remiss here, thank you so much for the presentation today. And to our audience, we have, roughly about 5 or 6 minutes left. We do have kind of a hard stop with our Zoom account. So please feel free to unmute yourself and ask Clint specific questions or post them in the chat, whichever you prefer. And again, thank you, Clint.
Thank you. And I'll be in the Discord. I'll throw my email into the chat. We can continue these conversations outside of here as well. Anybody wants to come off of mute and ask a question, or I will crawl through the chat and see what I can grab in our couple of minutes. Can it do sign language as well? Not at this time, in part because it doesn't have the AI vision to see my side of it, but absolutely that's coming. Does CU Anschutz have an enterprise-wide license? We are close to securing that, but we are through the steps of making that happen. We could have the avatar explain the need for in-text citations to a college freshman. You did just see Santa. There are a variety of avatars available for use. Santa was one of them earlier in the year. How secure the knowledge base for this platform, privacy and intellectual property. Yeah, this is all continuing to refine and train these AIs. So, I mean, you should be building these without a lot of privacy in mind. These knowledge bases do get fed into a larger system to continue to improve the product for everybody. So while I don't think that anybody could very specifically pull your knowledge base out of this and use it, I think you probably want to behave as if there is no privacy. Yep, stop the avatar by speaking over to her. Yeah, absolutely. I could have trained her to be offended by me speaking over her and interrupting. Absolutely. Yep, interactive behaviors that will change as these avatars become more common. Totally, totally, totally. We've got some collaboration pieces in here. Does every program have a specialized avatar? They certainly can, or we can create broad avatar knowledge bases that apply to multiple pieces. So it really comes down to being a thought partner with that educator. What is the best experience to create for your learners, wide or small? And then a bunch of thanks. Well, thanks everybody. I really appreciate the kind words. We will wrap this up and see you at the rest of the conference. Thanks so much for your time. I really look forward to continuing this conversation with any and all of you. See you soon.
Thank you, Clint.